Great Sith War left the galaxy reeling. Jedi were dead, planets were scarred, and the Republic was fragile. You'd think after all that, peace might finally hold. But nope, because out in the Outer Rim, a new storm was brewing. And this time, it wasn't the Sith. It was the Mandalorians, armored warriors who lived for war. Their invasion dragged the galaxy into another apocalypse, and it would forge one of the most legendary Sith Lords in Star Wars history, Darth Revan. Who were the Mandalorians? Before we dive into the war, let's talk about who the Mandalorians actually were. Today, people think of Mandalorians as Boba Fett clones, or Din Djarin from The Mandalorian. But way back in the Old Republic, the Mandalorians were something very different. They weren't a single species. They were a culture, a creed. Anyone could become a Mandalorian if they proved themselves in battle and swore loyalty to the clan. They lived for combat. War wasn't just survival, it was their religion. They believed in the Resul Nar, the 6 actions that defined what it meant to be Mandalorian. And at the top of that list was defend yourself and your people. The galaxy to them was a battlefield, and conquest was how they honored their ancestors. The Mandalorians were led by a single warlord known as the Mandalore. This wasn't a name, it was a title passed down from leader to leader. And the one ruling during this time was Mandalore the Ultimate. And trust me, that wasn't just a cool nickname. He earned it. Under his leadership, the Mandalorians launched their greatest crusade yet, and the target was the Republic itself. The Republic under siege. Here's how it started. The Mandalorians began attacking worlds along the Republic's borders. Small raids at first, but soon they were conquering entire systems. They enslaved populations, looted resources, and built momentum with every victory. This was called the Mandalorian Crusade. The Republic was terrified. Their fleets were overwhelmed, and their armies were scattered. They turned to the Jedi for help. But here's the shocking part. The Jedi refused. The Jedi refused to intervene. The Jedi Council believed the Mandalorian threat wasn't their fight. They thought it might be a trap, that maybe some hidden Sith influence was pushing the Mandalorians to war, and if the Jedi intervened, they'd fall right into it. So instead of mobilizing, the Council ordered the Jedi to stay out of it. Imagine that. Millions of lives at risk, whole planets falling, and the galaxy's greatest warriors just sitting on the sidelines. The Republic was furious. Ordinary citizens lost faith in the Jedi, and some Jedi themselves were disgusted. They felt the Council was being cowardly, letting fear of the past dictate their choices. Enter Revan. And out of that frustration rose a Jedi Knight who refused to sit still. Revan. Charismatic, brilliant, and fearless, Revan believed the Jedi had a duty to defend the Republic. He and his best friend, Alec, who would later be known as Malak, defied the Council's orders and rallied other like-minded Jedi to his cause. These rebels became known as the Revanchists. Revan didn't just join the war, he led it. He studied the Mandalorians, learned their tactics, and outmaneuvered them at every turn. While the Council debated endlessly, Revan was out there winning battles, saving worlds, and gaining the loyalty of both Jedi and Republic soldiers alike. He became a hero, the shining star of the Republic war effort. The war escalates. The Mandalorian Wars became one of the bloodiest conflicts in galactic history. Whole sectors were devastated. Cities were glassed. The Mandalorians showed no mercy, and Revan responded with ruthless efficiency. He used tactics the Jedi Council would never have approved. Orbital bombardments, scorched Earth campaigns, sacrifices of entire worlds to secure strategic victories. Revan's methods worked. Slowly but surely, the Mandalorians were pushed back. But each brutal choice, each compromise of Jedi values, dragged Revan closer and closer to the dark side. The war wasn't just changing the galaxy, it was changing him. The final battle, Malachor V. The climax came at the planet Malachor V. This was the ultimate showdown between Revan's Republic forces and Mandalore the Ultimate's armies. Malachor was already a dark world, soaked in dark side energy, and Revan chose it deliberately. He had a secret weapon, the Mass Shadow Generator, a superweapon designed by his general Mitra Surik, later known as the Jedi Exile. When the battle began, it was chaos. Fleets clashing in orbit, soldiers clashing on the ground. And then Revan gave the order. The Mass Shadow Generator activated, creating a massive gravity well that tore Malachor V apart. Entire fleets were ripped to shreds, soldiers crushed, and the surface of the planet shattered into a graveyard of jagged stone. The Mandalorian fleet was annihilated. Mandalore the Ultimate himself was defeated in combat by Revan. And just like that, the Mandalorian Wars were over. But the cost was beyond imagining. Millions dead, a planet destroyed, and one Jedi Knight who was no longer truly Jedi at all. The aftermath, the fall of Revan. After the war, Revan and Malak didn't return to the Council for congratulations. Instead, they vanished into the unknown regions. Officially, they claimed they were hunting down the last remnants of the Mandalorians. But in truth, Revan was searching for something else. The source of the Mandalorians' strange push to war. And what he found was far worse than anyone expected. In the unknown regions, Revan encountered the hidden Sith Empire, the one founded centuries earlier by Nagasato's survivors, now ruled by the immortal Sith Emperor Vitiate. Revan and Malak fell fully to the dark side, declaring themselves Dark Lords of the Sith, and returned to the galaxy not as heroes, but as conquerors. Why the Mandalorian Wars mattered. The Mandalorian Wars were more than just another conflict. They were the crucible that forged Darth Revan. Without this war, Revan would never have defied the Council, never walked into the unknown regions, never become the Sith Lord who nearly destroyed the Republic. The war also devastated the galaxy's faith in the Jedi, leaving scars that would last for generations. So the Mandalorians were crushed, their ultimate leader slain, and their fleets destroyed. But in their defeat, they accidentally created the Republic's next nightmare. Because the hero who saved the galaxy was about to return as a Sith Lord, and his name would be feared for centuries. In the next chapter, we'll follow Revan and Malak as they betray the Republic, launch the Jedi Civil War, and bring the galaxy to the brink of destruction.